It's funny because yesterday I was looking back at part of the video that I recorded and I saw these little elements of this person that I used to be when I recorded videos like 5 years ago. I've been doing this for quite a long time. Not always consistently, but I've had periods where I was very consistent, recording lots of videos. And I notice tiny things where I hear these like little cringe-worthy ways of speaking. But then simultaneously, I also noticed that I've become a lot more fluent, a lot more comfortable also in front of the camera, and really, become a better speaker. So that's also nice to see. But then I see these little elements, and it's like, still there, man, still there. I know you're there, boy. So today I was walking back from the gym, and I was just downstairs in the kitchen trying to recapture this thought. So there's this thing that I struggle with quite a lot. It's a predicament that I find difficult to really make up my mind on. So the issue is that I think, I believe that a lot of the time and energy we spend in society isn't really productive. So what does that mean? So in my view, productivity is all about value creation, and in order to understand what value creation means, we must understand what value is. Now, I'm a believer that there is such a thing as a fundamental good and a fundamental bad. So I definitely believe that we can move in a good direction or in a bad direction. So then the question becomes, what is the fundamental good? And that to me is a very interesting question that intrigues me, one that I think about a lot, because it ties in closely, at least I think it ties in closely with living a meaningful life, living a good life. So we have to understand what is good. And I think much of the things that are good are getting back to the essence for what it really is, trying to see things for what they really are, trying to understand ourselves for who we really are, and identifying where a lot of our suffering and dissatisfaction comes from, which largely is desire for things, right? We desire something, or we feel aversion to something, so we want something, or we want something not to be. And that makes us feel uneasy, that makes us feel dissatisfied. So we try to get it. And I think that's a thing that our culture is really predicated on. We constantly try to get the thing that's going to make us happy. We're constantly trying to get the thing that's going to make us fulfilled, or we're trying to get away from the thing that's going to make us unhappy. Right? Just before recording this video, I got stuck in this YouTube loop where I just wanted to watch one single thing, but afterwards I keep clicking, not even particularly looking for anything, but just kind of getting stuck in this pattern of searching and looking for things. And I think that's something our society does a lot. Whereas if we would not do things a lot of the time, we might get much better results, and we might live much better lives. And I have this image always in my head, like this person that is running after a balloon, and on the bottom of the balloon there's like a big weight or something, and across that weight is written desire and wants and passion and whatever. And this person is running after that balloon through like this busy city, and they're constantly running after this balloon, but they never quite catch it. They never quite catch that thing, right? And that just goes on for, like, you see these different frames, and it just goes on for multiple years. And then at some point you see the shot of a guy or a girl meditating on a mountain, and the balloon just flies by, and zap, this person all of a sudden, just with one swoop of a blade, cuts down the weight from the balloon. And to me, that really symbolizes that doing the right thing at the right time can be so much more powerful than just doing things all the time or wanting things all the time. So it's this idea of non-action, right? Where not taking action, or just taking the natural action that presents itself, will lead usually to way better results than trying to constantly do this thing, get this thing, work towards this thing. This is also what Nassim Taleb talks about in his book Anti-Fragile. This concept of via negativa, which I found really interesting, which is basically that the result is gained by not doing things rather than doing things, right? And very, for me, logical examples, which I've also done in the past, are things like fasting, right, where you don't eat food to get health benefits, or things like meditating, where you don't consume anything, or you just sit still in silence. And I remember this quote from the book Siddhartha, where he said, I can wait, I can fast, and I can think. That's all I need. Waiting, fasting, and thinking. And I was thinking about this quote, and I thought, that is so powerful. Because if I don't desire something, if I truly don't desire something, and if I could just wait, and I don't need to eat, and I can just wait, and I can just think, that is already like 99% of the things that you need to do. You will be there when the right opportunity presents itself, because you're just waiting, and you're not keeping yourself busy, missing all the opportunities that would be really meaningful, because you're constantly seeking for something. So that's from that perspective, I'm a big believer of non-action, and I think I would rather not do things for a large part of my day and then have a few hours where I'm doing things that feel very meaningful to me. And down the line, I think I feel more productive and more and happier than someone who's maybe doing a lot or creating a lot, but is doing this in the wrong pattern of thinking. John Vervaeke has a nice example or a nice concept that he explains in one of his talks about the being mode and the having mode. So there are things that we need to have, like water, like shelter, like air, like the things that we need to have in order to survive, or maybe in order to thrive also. But then there's also things that we need to be, and maybe those things are even way more important, right? We need to be wise. We need to be of strong character. We need to be compassionate, be loving. Those are not things we can buy. Those are not things we can get to have. And both of these play a role. But in our society, we focus a lot on that having mode. We're trying to fill the being mode with things that you can have, right? We're trying to become more free by buying a car. We're trying to become more compassionate by buying a gift or something. So we're trying to fill this being mode by things that we can have. And I see so many people being stuck in a career, maybe not even feeling that they're stuck or knowing that they're stuck, but they're stuck in a career that's focused around this having mode and also generating value for other people, for things to have. So that's kind of my one side of the story. But then the other side of the story for me is, first of all, there's things that I like to have that bring me joy, right? The fact that I can have my computer here and have my microphone and, these glasses that I really like, although maybe they make me slightly narcissistic. But there's many things that I like to have and that I truly enjoy and that also help me be this better person. Kind of in the spirit of the tool is just a tool. You can use a hammer to hit the nail, or you can use the hammer to smack somebody's brain in. So first of all, I like to have things. But secondly, I'm also then wondering, is this just me rationalizing myself not wanting to work hard? Because I have this cultural script in my brain, in my character. I've been raised in this country, in this environment, where that is kind of the thing you do. You work, you create value, conventional value, whatever that may be, whole separate discussion. So is it me just rationalizing? Saying like, I don't want to work 8 hours. I don't want to work for a company that is doing marketing or that's building a product that people don't necessarily need, right? Like food, unhealthy food products, clothing. Like there's so many things in abundance that we don't really need. Whereas I think it would be much better if all of us just took a few hours off, got a little less, and used the energy that we get from that to build things that are more meaningful, social relationships, experiences, products that are like truly like crafts, like products, things made for the art of making them, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm struggling with that, because on the one hand, I'm a firm believer of that, But on the other hand, sometimes I feel a little bit of a cheap sellout, maybe, because I just don't want to work hard. Even though that's not true, because I don't mind working hard. I just don't want to work on things that I think are not valuable. Because why would I do that? I only get to spend my time on this earth once, so why would I work on things that don't feel meaningful to me or that aren't valuable to me? Yeah, so I go back and forth between these thoughts. I don't know. I'm not finished with this thought yet, but it's something that I was just thinking about. And then another thing, which kind of ties into this, I guess, is that I've really been trying to live more in silence, and I'm not trying to do it in a binary way, which is something that I would used to do a lot. I would go from one extreme to the other extreme, but I'm trying to do it mindfully in a way. So, most noticeably, I'm not wearing headphones when I'm going outside. That's the promise I made to myself. Whenever I go outside, I don't wear headphones. And I notice I have so many more interactions with people. Just me being open to that, giving myself that space, makes the world a lot more fun to engage with. And I had that hypothesis already, for a long time. I felt like, if I don't wear the headphones, maybe I get more engagement with the world. But it actually works. Also because I'm generally trying to slow down a little bit, and that ties into that not doing so much. So where I'm not doing so much and I'm getting these conversations with people, then I'm feeling more confident. Because, if I got my distraction on my ears, there's less of a reason for me to engage with someone, right? Let's say I'm at the gym. If I got my music blasting, then there's less of an incentive for me to talk to the person next to me. If I'm on the street, I might miss this tiny little invitation to an interaction. Like today I was in the supermarket and there was this one girl who didn't have the proper card for payment. And I just slightly heard her say something with the other cashier like, oh no, I don't have the card for payment, then I have to go all the way to the ATM, blah, 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 blah. If I'm wearing headphones, either I'm not hearing that conversation, or B, I'm already like kind of distancing myself from that conversation. Now I could just hop in and be like, hey, I'll pay the groceries for you, I'll send you a link later and we'll figure it out. You don't have to go all the way to the ATM. And I got to do something nice for someone else, and it makes me feel good also because I like helping people. That's something I like doing. So yeah, that's been good. That's been nice, and that's something I really want to keep up. Right? It doesn't have to be all the time. I can wear my headphones. I'm listening to music when I'm working. When I'm in the gym. Sometimes if I go like hard, it's fine to wear the headphones, but not as much outside. Meditating in the morning, meditating in the evening. Try not to wear them, especially those headphones. They're noise canceling headphones that really suck me into my own world. And maybe consume a little less content in that way. Maybe listen to one less podcast, one less audiobook, but then have the room to develop my own thinking, like through things like this, where I'm just speaking my thoughts. I could also use this 20 minutes to listen to some Alan Watts while I'm laying on the couch or cleaning the kitchen. And who knows, I might listen to some Alan Watts after recording this. But it's freeing up the space and the situations for myself, to engage more fully with the world and to engage also more fully with myself. So that's nice. Then on the polar opposite of that, the last thing I was kind of wanting to talk about is that, so yesterday I had this sudden urge to watch porn. And I think it's because, I had this good week. I had a lot of interactions. I saw a lot of beautiful women, and, I'm a horny guy. I'm attracted to women. I like them a lot, and yeah, my juices get flowing, and especially when I don't masturbate, that tension rises up, and I just got this sudden urge, and I indulged. I watched porn, and afterwards I thought to myself, yeah, was this really, worth it? Something you want to do? But, I've tried, and I realize I'm saying, a lot now. Probably because I'm, getting a little bit insecure. It's because I try not to be so harsh on myself. So I'm saying, okay, it's not something that I wanted to do, but that's okay. But then today, this is where the strange thing comes in. I'm sitting here, and I'm not necessarily feeling that urge to watch the porn. But then there's this strange, like, anti-hero energy inside of me that's like, just watch some porn. Even if you don't feel like it, just do it because it's something that you don't want to do. That thing right there, just do it because it's something I don't want to do. It's like a very self-destructive thing, very self-destructive energy. And I wonder where that comes from and why that's there. Because I've noticed that more often in my life, and especially lately. Not more often lately, but more specifically lately. Like today, it was very clear that I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to do this. And I also don't necessarily feel the urge, right? Because if I don't want to do it and I feel the urge, then I could think to myself, like, okay, the urge was just stronger than me not wanting to do it. But in this particular case, I didn't want to do it, and I didn't particularly feel the urge. But a part of me wanted to do it because I didn't want to do it. A part of me really wanted to self-sabotage me in a way. Yeah, that's strange. And I'm not sure where that comes from. I think it's something worth investigating, seeing, what's that little thing, and what does that need? What does that part of me need to be satisfied without self-destructing or undermining myself? Maybe there's a way to integrate that. Who knows? So yeah, that's the ramble for today. Just some thoughts, some topics swimming in my head. Always nice to have these little sessions, talking out my thoughts. And yeah, love you. Take care. Bye bye.